Ghosts have been a part of lore and legend for centuries as a way to explain the unexplainable or spooky, or simply to feel closer to loved ones who may have passed away. Ghost tours and ghost hunts have long been a popular pastime for those who enjoy the thrill of brushing sides with the other world. Photos and sightings of mysterious specks and glitches have been known to spark intense debates across the internet. However, nobody has ever been able to entirely disprove the existence of spirits wandering our world, and spectres have been given credit for many things that are distinctly paranormal in nature. Ghost Adventures first episode. What would you do if you and a couple of your friends immediately dropped everything and left your home right now after experiencing a personal paranormal experience with a determination to gather the evidence to prove that you are not crazy, ultimately succeeding in this endeavor and getting undeniable proof of this paranormal activity? That appears to be exactly the case for lead paranormal researchers Zak Bagans, Nick Croft, and Aaron Goodwin. According to the researchers themselves, the idea for the show first began as a documentary. The team only had the intention of making a short film to cover the strange world of the paranormal after the lead researcher on the team, Zak Bagans, seemingly an ordinary man, encountered his own paranormal experience of a strange, ethereal-looking woman at the foot of his bed. Determined to prove his sanity, he gathered up his closest friends and attempted to locate the most haunted place in the United States to film this paranormal documentary and provide the world with undeniable proof. After he and his team arrived at the Goldfield Inn down in the state of Nevada, their lives changed forever. The video can still be seen in clear HD to this day, as the paranormal researchers recorded objects moving on their own, strange voices crying, and mysterious orbs flying around. The evidence was so compelling that many individuals came out of the woodwork in an attempt to disprove it, including a man named Slim Ritchie, a professional video analyst who tried to gather evidence to see if the footage had been edited, if effects had been performed, or if fishing line had been used. Oddly enough, he deemed the footage to have been 100% genuine, and used a variety of high-end advanced techniques to spot if it was a fake, only for it to be proven as legitimate. Upon this finding, the paranormal team was invited on numerous talk shows, written about in magazines and websites, and was immediately offered their show that is still on the air to this day, known as Ghost Adventures. Sava Sava. Many people in Serbia believe that a real-life vampire named Sava Sava lived in a small village in Serbia. Over time, it has become one of the most famous folklores in Serbia. According to legend, Sava Sava was the first Serbian vampire, and he lived in an old watermill situated close to a river. It's reported that during his life, he took the lives of many who worked at the nearby mill. The story goes that the hill was purchased by the Jagodic family, and it was operational until the 1950s. During recent years, the local administration had taken control of the watermill, and today it serves as a tourist attraction. Interestingly enough, there have not been any recent encounters with the entity, which has caused many to suggest that the creature has either moved on or has passed away. Others have said they've seen the creature close to the mill on dark nights, and that the mysterious entity has tried to lure some of the local people in. In fact, back in 2012, different media outlets reported that the vampire was back in the area after a bunch of locals reported seeing the creature. The Banshee of Dunluce Castle. Perched atop an outcrop of rocks overlooking the ocean in Northern Ireland is Dunluce Castle. Even though it stands mostly in ruins, it remains one of the most iconic and beloved castles of Ireland. There have been tales of ghosts and hauntings for centuries, as the site has always held spiritual and tactical influence throughout the area. Local legends even tell of an entire kitchen falling off the castle onto the rocks below. Other tales of the castle include treasure hidden in the caves below the castle, mermaids luring sailors to their death, and many executions held on the southeast tower. The castle, which served as the seat of the Clan MacDonald, was first occupied by the McQuillan family in the 1500s. Although many people lost their lives falling from the craggy pinnacle, there is one death that seems to echo the halls of the castle to this day: the Banshee of Dunluce Castle. Banshees are female spirits of Irish lore. These spirits are said to herald the death of a family member, their presence usually accompanied by painful wails and sorrow for their loved ones. This particular spirit is said to be the ghost of Maeve Rowe. Maeve was the only daughter of Lord Macquillan. Lord Macquillan was a stern nobleman, and his daughter was a woman who had her own ideals. After falling in love with an officer in her father's army, Maeve is banished to a tower in the castle. Macquillan would not have his daughter marry a lowly officer and disgrace the family, so he simply locked her away. O'Khan came to Maeve's rescue. In a brave and maybe foolish manner, he climbed the tower and carried Maeve down to safety. That safety didn't last long, however. Together, they stole a small rowboat and attempted an escape out to sea. The couple did not make it far. That night, a storm came in quickly and violently, easily tossing the boat against the sharp, jagged rocks below the castle. The story of the Banshee of Dunluce Castle almost plays out like a fairy tale. A damsel being locked in a tower and a heroic rescue, but this tale ends in tragedy. The body of Maeve was never recovered, but part of her will always remain at the castle. On dark, stormy nights, visitors tell of Maeve's sorrowful wails echoing the rocky halls. Having never gotten the escape and life she longed for, she cries out for her loss. Antoinette Rose. Whenever the subject of witchcraft is mentioned, we always picture a witch riding a broom. Have you ever wondered why that is? The story dates back to the 15th century during the time of Antoinette Rose, more commonly known as the Witch of Savoy. Rose was put to trial in a court in France in the year 1477. Some believed that she was under torture. According to her story, she was struggling and in a desperate need of money. Having no one to turn to, she decided to tell her neighbour about her ordeal. This neighbour allegedly introduced her to a group of people who convinced her to come to the devil for help. According to Antoinette Rose, the devil appeared to her in the form of a man called Robinet. He offered to provide all the money that she wants with the condition that she would abandon God and honour him, the devil, instead. Being destitute and desperate at the same time, Rose had to choose between dying of poverty and making a deal with the devil. She agreed to his terms to pay homage to him through rituals. The devil made another demand that she should pay him a portion of her earnings each year. Sounds like the devil knows how to collect tax. She agrees to this as well. The devil kept his end of the bargain, and he gave Antoinette Rose a bag of gold and silver. He also gave her a few other things that she did not exactly ask for. Those items did not have any monetary value, but it was for Rose to use during the rituals she needed to perform to pay homage to the devil. She received a stick and a jar filled with ointment. These came with a set of instructions and directions. To her surprise, all she needed to do was dip the stick to the ointment, mount it, and utter the words, "Go, in the devil's name, go." According to Rose, the rituals she performed for the devil required her to dance, feast, and kiss the behind of the devil when she transformed into a black dog. She admitted that she was terrified when she met the devil the first time. She recounted that he had a hoarse voice that she hardly understood what he was saying. Antoinette Rose's story is not the original when it comes to the devil giving women powers to fly on a broomstick. Guillaume Edelin was earlier by a few years who shared her story in 1453. Guillaume admitted to being forced and tortured to fly on a broomstick. Every culture has its own version of the origin of witches. As for France and the whole world, Rose and Edelin's stories are how the broomstick started coming into the picture. The question that comes to mind after hearing these accounts is not so much whether or not they were real, but how much gold and silver did they get, and was it worth it? Are shadow people time travelers? Shadow people sound a bit creepy, right? They are defined as supernatural shadow-like humanoid figures that, according to believers, are seen flickering on walls and ceilings in the viewer's peripheral vision. Shadow people are considered as entities of the underworld, but those who have experienced them are not sure whether they are evil, helpful, or just there. Scientists have tried to offer explanations for the phenomena. For example, some researchers conclude that seeing shadow figures are simply symptoms of sleep paralysis or deprivation, and others have noted that drug addicts are more likely to experience these sorts of hallucinations. Alternatively, they can simply be the mind playing tricks on somebody who's experiencing a heightened sense of alert, for example, when you're walking down a dark alley at night. However, some people are convinced that shadow people are actually apparitions of time travelers. They think that the reason that they are only in shadow form is because we, on Earth, can't clearly see the future and therefore find it hard to see these figures. Instead of being supernatural or devilish creatures, they are actually just people from other dimensions. They also don't seem to be taking any notice of the people that see them, therefore fitting in with the common time travel theme. Often when time traveling, the person experiencing it is not noticed by anybody else. The thing is, this is all heavily disputed, and the scientific explanations are well weighted in their favor. We'll never know for sure if shadow people are time travelers or not, or even real. But one thing is for sure: the human imagination is a powerful thing.